Hi, welcome to part 2. So the previous video talked about why it was so important for Embalmer to have the Tide Turner in rank, because if every teammate had Tide Turner, you guys can keep taking turns to keep saving each other. And Embalmer, he has Tide Turner on his coffin, and if he has Tide Turner on himself, that's just multiple Tide Turners. You get maybe even 3 or 4 Tide Turners if you count yourself and 3 coffins, right? So now I'm going to talk about why he should get the other tree. So Tide Turner's bottom, and borrow time is really important. So borrow time is really important because there's often a lot of games where hunters don't pick you up and put you on a chair. They just knock you down, leave you on the floor, and then they start chasing other people. Or sometimes you're the last person in the game who's not at a door. You have a coffin somewhere, and they're just gonna camp you and wait for you to die out instead of putting you on a chair, because you're gonna get revived into your coffin on the other side of the map, and they don't want to deal with that. So it's very important to have borrowed time. When the exit door opens, you bring yourself back up and you start running for it. This is the more typical persona build, where you get the bottom, you get the right, you get the ability to recover yourself, you get the stress because most of the time you might want to be on the rocket chair, so you go in, you save the person, you make sure the person gets out alive, you might even sacrifice yourself so that the person gets alive, and then you end up on a rocket chair. And now you're waiting for a teammate to come and save you, so you get another coffin. So you want the stress, especially if you are not on Discord or you're not playing with teammates, you're solo ranking like I am. Code is mainly for if you want to make there's because you don't have the vaulting persona, you want to know when a hunter turns a corner, or whether they followed you up the stairs so you can jump down, whether or not they jump down with you and you can loop back around the other way. So that's the reason why I have code. But sometimes I take out code and then I would go for the distraction. Now this is the most probably typical build of any character. You can use this build right now on any of the characters: Coordinator, Seer. Sometimes I even use this on Perfumer instead of getting the broken windows. But I decided that I kind of sometimes like having this build more, and this is because you have to think of Embalmer as maybe more of a decoder most of the time when he's not the one that's kiting and running around. So I have the mech, where you basically increase 10% calibration. It just makes it so that you're easier, you don't miss calibrations, and you finish the cipher faster. But that's not really the main reason. The main reason is for this guy, the sticker. Now a lot of people are probably not going to agree with me, but that's okay, because if you never tried it, or maybe in theory it works, that's why I'm trying it and using it. But for this one, it's basically when you're incapacitated, you heal yourself by 10% more or faster, and you increase your crawling speed by 100%. So this comes into play when the hunters leave you on the floor and they don't pick you up, and you are either very close to a dungeon, you're very close to the door. Sometimes you're the last person in the game and you rush for the dungeon, and then the hunter's just standing on it. If you just rush for it and they hit you and you land on the dungeon, you can still at least crawl to it and jump in. Or when you make it to the door, you're inside a door and they hit you, you can still crawl and get there. The other thing is that when you start crawling and they start getting worried that you're gonna actually reach a thing, they're gonna pick you up and then they're gonna walk a little bit away and then they're gonna drop you. Now every time they do that, the struggling of the balloon increases a bit, and eventually they're gonna have to drop you while they're holding on to you in the balloon, and then you have a chance to make a run at it. And I'm gonna show you some gameplays where that actually happens. Once again, let's see, what's my current character rating? 45, rank 45. Okay. So as you can see in this game, there's one cipher left. I think one of the teammates is distracting or kiting the hunter, and then the three of us, we're all here on the same cipher because we really want to complete it. The exit gate's open. I'm trying to open the door, and then I move aside for the mine side to do it because they're faster. And then I believe the hunter I think he probably teleported to this exit gate, which is the sad part. We were really hoping for him to be following the other one for a while. So he teleported here, and then now we're scattering around, and then he eventually ends up hitting me, and then I fall down. So right here I'm trying to crawl my way to the door, and he's watching me, and he just picks me up. He takes me to the chair. He takes me to a really far away chair. And then he drops me. Or he didn't really take me all the way to the chair, but the point is, he took me really far away from the gate, and he drops me. So now I'm like, well, what do I do? In this game, I did not get the crawling persona talent. I wish I did. All of the games I'm about to show you, I really wish I had the crawling persona, and there were games where I did have it and it does pay off. I just don't have it recorded. And in this part, I knew what the seer was trying to tell me. He stayed because he has an owl, but I wasn't sure. And then I'm kind of like making my way there. I would have healed myself eventually, but I really want him to pick me up and move me. So here he gives me the owl, and I run my ass across. I felt like I should have ran the other way around just to make sure that I get there. Oh, but he freaking teleported to the door, and he has the other guy. So that makes it rougher. And then he blocks the whole door. Okay. So he hits me again, and I'm really crawling. And this is when I really, really wish I had that crawling talent. At this point, I'm still trying to believe that I can make it somehow. That if I just slowly crawl over, he's gonna have to pick me up and stop me. Or that I heal myself and then just sprint my ass away there. Like, even though we won the game already, right? I still kind of wish that I survived it so that, you know, a little more points or whatever. And just keep watching. But really, I really wish I had the 100% increased crawling speed.
Electric. We are electric. We are electric. We are electric. 1, 2, 3.
So here's another game where, let's see, we were opening the door, right? Where we finished all the ciphers. We're at the exit door, and then the geisha teleports, and I'm trying to, I guess. Okay, so I went back to try to open the door because I thought that she was chasing with someone else, and then she hits me, and then you see the chairs right there, and my coffin, the blue glowing icon on the map, is there. And you know, this hunter, she's not gonna put me on the chair, and she just leaves me on the ground for the rest of the game, pretty much. Yeah. And for this game, I knew where the dungeon was. I passed by it previously in the game, and I'm just thinking that if I had more crawling speed, I could have at least crawled my way all the way to wherever I thought the dungeon was, right? Or try that same tactic where, you know, I crawled, she picks me up, and then I struggle, and eventually I will struggle off and then run my ass to the dungeon. But the point is that I feel like there are times where I feel like I do need that extra crawling speed, and hunters know to not put you on a chair, especially when the exit doors are open. You have a coffin all the way on the other side of the map. Probably they're not going to put you on a chair unless you're the last person alive. And even then she doesn't put me in a chair. She picks me up and she does not put me to the chair. See, at this point I feel like if I had the crawling speed, I might have been able to find a dungeon and just get out of here. And then lastly, for this game, once again, you know, there's a cipher left, and then I'm getting chased by the hunter. I'm trying to kite for as long as possible so that they can finish the cipher, and then we have one person who died really quickly that game. So for a win, we have to get all three of us to escape. I eventually get knocked down, and then, well, they did a good job in finishing the cipher. I got up, I ran. However, he has a blink. He blinked through the thing, and then he hit me, and then I'm like, well, shit. So what happened was that he left me on the ground. He didn't go to the other gate and chase them. Oh wow, I fucked up there. I should just turned and not put the pallet down, but you know, hindsight. So here I am, I'm slowly crawling to the freaking door. Slowly crawling to the freaking door. He's not gonna pick me up, and then he camps me for the rest of the time there. So if I just heal myself up, he's just gonna hit me down. So this game, I was too afraid to heal myself up. I wasn't aware that my teammate Seer was trying to inform me that he had an owl, because I didn't know that he had an owl. I thought he used the owl already. But he was trying to inform me that he had an owl, and that I should bring myself up so that he can owl me and try to get away. So that didn't happen this game, but I kind of wish it did. So in the end, what happened was that he just left me on the floor, and I eventually bled out. But the point being is why it's so crucial to have borrowed time. You saw before where I got knocked down, I was on the floor, and then they finished that cipher before he picked me up. I got back up, I kept going, and then it was kind of my fault for putting down that pallet, and also because he has a blink, so it made it a little more difficult. So borrowed time is really important to get back up after you get hit, and also sometimes that crawling speed talent is pretty important. At this point, I was trying to think. I was like, maybe if I just get up, and if he had an owl, I can just press on the door and hope that it opens. Most likely not. I have to run all the way to the other side of the map and try. I didn't know where dungeon was this game. So yeah, I lost this one.